Magic haven't been stepping up.
Yeah.
I mean, the Celtics game,
they matched the other team's energy. You see, another off play I saw that kind of sealed the Orlando Magic's fate in Game 4 was when Derek Fisher just walks down the court, gets his composure, and then just puts up a three. I mean, there was no defense for, like, maybe right when he was going into his motions, like, oh, wait, I better defend this guy. Yeah. I mean, you should be on him when he gets the ball. I mean, it was just lazy on the Orlando Magic's part.
It's not all how you do on the court. It's also off the court. LeBron James couldn't take losing. Dwight Howard does not take responsibility. He said that the turning point of Game 4 was when Fisher hit the three, which it was. But it was also when Howard missed 6 free throws.
Like we said, he's a leader of that team, and it is his job to score and get them over, and he didn't do that.
No, he did not. Actually, he did not do his job. He is the team leader. He has to take responsibility for what he does. If you look at Kobe, even in a Lakers loss, and if he doesn't do anything, he'll take responsibility for doing one little thing, like getting back on defense just a second late. I mean, Kobe just takes responsibility. That's a team player.
Kobe is a team player. Now, I want to ask you guys, what do you think is the X factor of this series? I personally think it's the depth of both teams, because the Lakers have superior depth compared to the Magic. But I also think it might be Kobe Bryant, because his tenacity and his will to get this finals without Shaq, I think that it surpasses even those of great players. I mean, his will to win is just amazing.
Well, why can't it be both?
I mean, it can be both, but which do you think is greater?
Kobe is playing above everyone else, and the Lakers are just playing better. I think it is. I think it's the Lakers' depth, because even if you look on the bench at some of their rookies, I mean, it never stops getting good with the Lakers.
You're right. I mean, they have players like Lamar Odom, Andrew Bynum, Walton, Trevor Ariza, Kobe Bryant, Derek Fisher. They just have all these players.
I think they have about 7 or 8 starters.
Exactly.
But also, you look at the championship teams and you notice the bench. The bench is the team that's...
The Celtics had an amazing bench last year. Their bench was amazing with James Posey, Eddie House.
And they won the
finals.
Yes.
So, yeah, I can see where the depth is. But Kobe Bryant, the leader of the team.
He's playing above everyone else.
Definitely.
Just a status that no one can match.
All right. Moving on to the next championship that was ended on Friday, the Detroit Red Wings taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins. And the Penguins won. Everyone thought that the Red Wings were going to beat them because of their depth and their experience. But some people are saying it's Pittsburgh's young legs that actually took them over.
It definitely was, and I think it was definitely Fleury. Marc-Andre Fleury was the big factor for the Pittsburgh Penguins throughout that whole game, Game 6 and Game 7. I mean, getting pulled in Game 5 and then coming back and having an amazing game in Game 6 and then an amazing game in Game 7. I mean, last minute left, 3 amazing saves by Fleury. And that's just what held them in the game. But you didn't see the young legs scoring. You saw them working hard, but it was Talbot that scored.
Talbot scored the only 2 games only 2 goals of the game for the Penguins.
Yes. Well, the Penguins had 1 shot that entire third period. They had no Crosby. Well, not a lot of them because he kind of got a little hurt. He kind of got hurt, but they didn't have him for that third period. And in the last 6.5 seconds, Fleury had to make 3 sprawling saves to save that game. And if he didn't, it would have went into overtime, and I definitely think Detroit would have pulled it out because Detroit is a clutch team.
They are.
But the reason why Pittsburgh won is because they won all 4 of the series that they played in on the road. I mean, if you look at the first series against Philly, they won it on the road. Against Washington, they won it on the road.
Exactly. I mean, the Detroit Red Wings have been there. Moving on from the game, well, actually staying on the game, Game 7 was the highest-rated NHL game since 2002.
Yes.
Why do you think that is? Because some people are talking about Sidney Crosby. He was the youngest captain to actually hoist the Stanley Cup. So some people are calling him the new face of the NHL.
I definitely disagree with that, and I don't think it was because of him for the high ratings in Game 7. I think it was just because of the amazing game that was played and the amazing 2 teams that were playing. I mean, there's so much history to those teams. And you look at Alexander Ovechkin, you try to compare them team-wise. I mean, he's playing for the Capitals, great team, ranked number 2 in the Eastern Conference at the end of the year. But they don't have that history. They don't have that just tenacity.
I know what you're saying.
And it was 7.5 rating for the Game 7. And
it's a great rating.
I know, that's a great rating. I mean, throughout the rest of the series, it was 4, 3, 2. You had 2 for Game 3. It was just a boring game, boring series at first.
Definitely.
And everybody's like, Detroit's going to win it. It's just going to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And it was this amazing surprise.
It was an amazing finish. That's why it had such a high rating.
Well, who was in the Stanley Cup in 2002? Do you remember that?
Red Wings and Hurricanes.
Well, the Hurricanes aren't that big a market team, but the Red Wings definitely brought a lot of publicity into that. And the same in this one. The Red Wings were probably one of the main reasons why it had such high ratings.
Because everyone wanted to see them win.
Yeah, and because of Sidney Crosby playing in the final. Evgeny Malkin and Marc-Andre Fleury for the Penguins. And Sidney Crosby being a face of the NHL, he's one of them, but not the.
Who else do you think would be in that category? Ovechkin. Yeah, I've heard a comparison: Ovechkin, the rock star of the NHL, and Sidney Crosby as the movie star.
If you had to pick three faces of the NHL, it would be Ovechkin, Crosby, and someone from the Western Conference, because you can't have all three Eastern.
Well, you could. I mean, the Eastern Conference is, big
pretty
market.
elite.
It's most of the, I mean, even in the NBA. Sorry, going back to the NBA. I'm an NBA guy.
Yeah.
The Eastern Conference, has definitely improved a lot, getting away from the stereotypes that the West is a superior conference. Yeah. The East has gotten a lot better.
Yeah. I think of the Eastern Conference, Eastern Conferences in East, like the American League in baseball, because they're all three are dominant.
They're all dominant.
I'm not sure you could say that, because the Western Conference for hockey was actually the dominant conference throughout the whole season, and now in the playoffs. No, not in the finals, but
throughout the playoffs they had more victories.
Playoffs, they were pretty much the dominant conference. But then you saw the final upset by the Penguins, and I think that really showed. The Eastern Conference has more depth, I think.
More depth? You think so?
I think so. But the Western Conference, I think, has the stronger teams. I think they have those strong teams like the Sharks and the Red Wings and the Canucks. But also, you notice that I think the next face for the Western Conference would either be Zetterberg, Lindstrom, or Joe Thornton.
Great input by both of you guys. So that's all for Back Talk right now. I'm Marcus Jackson here with Alexander Friedgood, Danny Schulman. That's it for now, so see you later.